So good morning, eighth graders. We are getting close to the end of the lottery. So we have 4 pages to go to the conclusion. So we are focusing on, let me share my screen, go over a few things with you. So we are focusing on 146 to 147 in the slide presentation, okay? Learning targets, I can describe how characters respond to changes the plot moves toward the ending. I can identify important events in a text and cite evidence. Okay, you can do the do now on your own. Okay, so make sure you read that, write that answer to that question down, write that in complete sentence. Today we will examine how each member of the Hutchinson family responds to the second drawing of the lottery. Your 2 words, you can see them there. Make sure that's spelled in and have examples of your own. Do not use mine. And let's remember where we were from last time. The Hutchinsons have won the lottery, but it doesn't look like that's good news. Tessie objects and Mr. Summers prepares for the second drawing. Let's keep reading to find out what happens during the second lottery. And that brings me to the question I want you to think about. I invite each of you to think about what happens after the first part of the lottery. You'll describe it on the lines at the top of page 147. Okay? So let me read that to you. So please follow along with me in your book, 146 to 147. Let me get my student copy. The crowd was quiet. A girl whispered. Oh, that's the wrong page. Hold on. 146. Then, as far as drawing for families is concerned, it's you, Mr. Summers said in explanation. And as far as drawing for households is concerned, that's you too, right? Right, Bill Hutchinson said. How many kids, Bill, Mr. Summers asked formally. 3, Bill Hutchinson said. There's Bill, Junior, Nancy, and little Dave, and Tessie and me. All right then, Mr. Summers said. Harry, you got their tickets back? Mr. Graves nodded and held up the slips of paper. Put them in the box then, Mr. Summers directed. Take Bill's and put it in. I think we ought to start over, Mrs. Hutchinson said. Oh, I think we ought to start over, Mrs. Hutchinson said as quietly as she could. I tell you, it wasn't fair. You didn't give him enough time to choose. Everybody saw that. 147. Mr. Graves had selected the 5 slips and put them in the box, and he dropped all the papers but those onto the ground where the breeze caught them and lifted them off. Listen, everybody, Mrs. Hutchinson was saying to the people around her. Ready, Bill? Mr. Summers asked, and Bill Hutchinson, with one quick glance around at his wife and children, nodded. Remember, Mr. Summers said, take the slips and keep them folded until each person has taken one. Harry, you help little Dave. Mr. Graves took the hand of the little boy, who came willingly with him up to the box. Take your paper out of the box, Davy, Mr. Summers said. Davy put his hand into the box and laughed. Take just one paper, Mr. Summers said. Harry, you hold it for him. Mr. Graves took the child's hand and removed the folded paper from the tight fist and held it while little Dave stood next to him and looked up at him wonderingly. Nancy next, Mr. Summers said. Nancy was 12, and her school friends breathed heavily as she went forward, switching her skirt, and took a slip daintily from the box. Bill Jr., Mr. Summers said, and Billy, his red face and his feet overlarge, and nearly knocked the box over as he got a paper out. Tessie, Mr. Summers said. And Bill Hutchinson reached into the box and felt around, bringing his hand out at last with a slip of paper in it. Okay, so go ahead and write down your answer to that for the key idea. Complete sentences, please. Thank you.